Hey everyone, this is Coach Phoenix.
And I'm Coach Gina.
And this is Toast with the Coaches. Cheers.
Cheers. Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Perspective, the show where we drink and talk about life, the universe, and all that other jazz.
And again, I'm Coach Phoenix, founder and CEO of Role Model Life Coaching. At Role Model Life Coaching, we partner with our clients to help them navigate down the road of life towards their model self.
And I'm Coach Gina, a certified life coach and founder of Clear Focus Coaching, where we help people with boundaries and women empowerment. To learn more, please visit clearfocuscoaching.com.
So at this time, I would like to raise a toast for a successful Black horse trainer, entrepreneur, combat Army officer veteran, amazing husband and father, representing for generations of horsemen, breaking boundaries and creating opportunities for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Sims. Cheers, my brother.
Cheers.
Man, that's the best intro I've ever had. I was starting to wonder if you were talking about me.
You earned it, man.
Those are all your titles.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so funny. People say that when they come into the show and they're like, man, that is the best intro I've ever had. But it's everything about them. It's everything that they've earned just kind of condensed. And it's crazy to hear it kind of all in one go like that.
It sounds like it's like the first time you look in the mirror and you be like, damn, that's me. That's what it is, Sim.
Very cool.
Yeah. So my brother, man, thank you for joining us today. And man, I'm excited. So let's just get right into it. So you are a Black horse trainer with your own stable, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And let's be honest, in your sport, it is a sport, what you do, correct?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think the equine athletes just is equivalent to any top tier athlete that there is, really.
Okay. So let's be honest. In your sport, you do not see a lot of Black jockeys, trainers, owners, etc., correct?
No, man, not at all. At one point, I'll probably get into it a little bit later, but at one point, this sport was dominated by really old slaves. There's a mural at Churchill Downs. So Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby's held. There's a mural there that shows all the jockeys who won the Derby and all the trainers who won the Derby. And it's kind of cool. It kind of goes left to right. When you look at the left side of each of those murals, it's all Black people. And then as it transitions to the right, there's no Black people. So yeah, there's very few of us out here. But yeah, there's a couple of us.
So
That's
you're
awesome.
saying that both jockey and trainer originally were Black or African American?
Yep, for sure. Yep.
During what time? What time was this?
So like when the first Derby, I think was 1875, I think 15 of like the first 20 something Kentucky Derbies were won by Black jockeys. So we really dominated the sport from both a trainer and a jockey standpoint for a long time.
So what was that switch?
So I think a big piece of it was segregation. Some of that stuff kicking in.
Jim Crow.
Huh?
Jim Crow.
Yeah, Jim Crow, and things like that. And then even after there weren't many jockeys and trainers for a long time, there were a lot of Black guys that were the grooms, like on the back. And then I would say, I don't know, just history from all the guys around the racetrack, maybe 20 years or so ago, a lot of Hispanics, guys coming up from Guatemala, Mexico, came up and started doing a lot of the jobs. So you see a lot of the old Black grooms and stuff. There aren't very many of those guys left either. And the few that there are, kind of everybody knows them. So, yeah.
So did people of color just kind of get like pushed out of the sport as it became more of like a, I guess for lack of a better term, a rich white person's sport?
Yeah, for sure. And just I don't want to speak on it too much, just because I didn't like live it.
Yeah.
But there aren't many. I mean, kind of a cool story, kind of how I got started in the horse business was my grandpa would say I learned how to walk into a horse barn. Grandpa was a horse trainer on an Indian reservation in North Dakota.
So you're Indian. Are you African American? Half African American, Indian, Native American.
So my mom's from an Indian reservation in North Dakota, and my dad's a black guy. Most of his family were like sharecroppers down in North Carolina, and then a lot of them moved to Virginia. But my mom joined the military, my dad joined the military, and that's how. But what's kind of cool is my grandpa trained horses, but his dad was a black jockey and found his way to North Dakota on the back of a horse. And then my grandma, and then my grandpa was born. So that's kind of our backstory on how we kind of got into it. So yeah, kind of cool.
So that's how you got into it. Like early childhood, that's where like your passion for horses came about. But how you go from being an Army officer, going to Afghanistan, fighting bad guys, to the sport you were in your career field you were in today?
Yeah, because it kind of sounds like you followed in your parents' footsteps a little bit first there before taking the right turn to horse
Your
training.
grandpa.
Yeah.
So he went from he followed his parents' footsteps, and then he made a right and went to and followed into his grandfather's footsteps. Yeah. So how that came about?
Yeah. So my dad, he got deployed when we were young, so we went back to the reservation with my family up there, and as long as I can remember, all I've ever wanted to do was train horses and be around horses. I thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. I can remember once we moved away, my dad came back. We'd always go back for the summers and the winters. We'd always spend in North Dakota and being around horses. And I can remember being a kid, just looking at people like working at grocery stores or just doing their day to day and thinking, why the hell aren't you training horses? Like, are you nuts? I just thought it was so crazy. So that passion, as long as I can remember, that's all I ever want to do is train horses.
But hold on, before you go on, I don't mean to cut you off, so try to remember where you're at. What about it, like, fueled you to drove you into?
I think the competitiveness of the horses racing, but how versatile and cool, empathetic, passionate the horse is. The horse is such a cool animal. And I mean, since I was little, I was always enamored with the horse. I can remember like they used to have these Lisa Frank pencils when I was a kid. They had these on them, but they were girl pencils. And I used to want them, but they was girl pencils, so I couldn't like use them because people I remember thinking like, dude, these pencils is kind of dope. They just need to change this pink to red or something. But it's just something about the horse. It's like what's weird, if you ever ask any horse people, once the horse bug bites you, you can't shake it. So like, kind of going back to your original question, I moved around a lot when I was little. My dad worked for the Federal Bureau of Prisons. So like 2 or 3 years, we'd move. But wherever we were at, I was trying to find horses. So my dad told us once we got in high school, we'd settle down. So we ended up in Chester, Virginia. So I went to high school in here, and then me and Phoenix met in college. I had a couple offers in school to go play sports, play football, and do RTC.
You was a high school phenom in football?
I wish I was a phenom. I was just decent.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
I feel like I got better after.
Is that a phenomenon?
You up a little bit. I thought I was on a roll. You said my intro was popping, so I was like, let me try to pop it up.
No. My buddies will watch this and humble me real quick, so I got to be honest.
They be like, fuck out of here, stop playing.
Listen to this fool. No, but in order to get an RTC scholarship, you got to interview at a school. So I had to interview at Virginia State, which is a small HBCU in Virginia. And I'm
the Trojans.
I was like, man, I don't want to go to no HBCU. I want to go to a big school. But I sat down in front of a guy I still talk to, really a phenomenal leader, a guy named Colonel Garland. And he was like, Mark.
Shout out to Jeffrey, man.
Dude, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He said, Mark, if you come here, I'll give you a full ride and I'll give you some money to go to 7 on the weekends. I was like, what? He was talking about the stipend. So I was like, shoot. So
You said, I'm sorry, you cut out. You said, and I give you some money to what?
Go to 7-Eleven. But he was talking about that little $300 stipend we get every month.
Yeah.
So I told my mom, and my mom was like, oh, you going to Virginia State? And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go for a semester, and then I'm going to transfer. But my first semester there, it was so much fun. Like, it was so cool. The RTC guys welcomed me in.
Hold on real quick, Sim. So for Gina, let me educate you a little bit. Virginia State University is a university is considered a HBCU, historical Black college. So historical Black college and university, and that's what Sims and I, we went to, we would say is the best HBCU of them all.
No doubt.
State, Trojan Warriors, you heard?
No doubt.
Yeah, so go ahead, Sims.
But yeah, the RTC guys welcomed me in. And my first in college, I was like, or in high school, I had like a 3.1 or 3.0, something like that. Just kind of got through. But in college, my first semester, I got all A's, and I was like, oh shoot! And I was good at working out. They call it PT, physical training. So
yeah, you was a stud. I remember.
RTC loved me, so I was like, shoot, they showing me love. So I ended up staying. It ended up being really, really good decision.
And Gina, he was light skinned. He had the Drake shit going on for him. That's when light skinned dudes was cool, but we took over.
Oh man, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But so I did RTC, and then I met my wife, and we always talked. And I kind of brought. I didn't tell a lot of people about the horses. But I told her about the horses, and we was broke college kids. For my birthday one year, she got me a book about horses, and then she had called a bunch of horse farms in Kentucky or in Virginia, like, "Hey, you should go call these people and try to go work for them." So that's when I knew I was going to marry her ass.
And this is wow. This is while y'all in college.
Yeah, I think this was freshman or sophomore year. So then I started calling a couple of these farms, and I got a job at one of the farms out here, and we ended up getting married at that farm.
Oh,
that kind
so
of
sweet.
A freaking romance story. That's awesome.
Oh, I did not expect that in this episode.
But that kind of got that kindled that old flame again. But I was still doing RTC, and I always wanted to train horses, but I really didn't think it was feasible. Like, I was doing well in RTC. The Army was going to provide all these opportunities. So I commissioned in the Army. I did real well in college. I commissioned as an intelligence officer. I went over to Korea for a year. I lived in Korea. I'd go to the horse tracks. Horse racing pretty big over there. And
really?
Yeah. They actually,
wow.
They're trying to push a ban through right now because like an old horse who ran the Kentucky Derby ended up in South Korea. Didn't run very well, and they ate him. So they're trying to shut down selling horses to South Korea because I think horse meat's a delicacy over there. Yes. But I didn't see none of that. All I seen was good horse racing.
Okay. So did you learn any tricks of the trades or any tools that you utilize now?
No, I wasn't that close. Like, I wasn't on the backside. I was just like enjoying it as a fan, just being around it.
Oh, got it. Using the audience.
Smelling the horse shit just kind of got me my fix.
Gotcha.
But at that time, my wife started at Purdue. She graduated from state and went to Purdue. And I got to figure out, well, at that time, we weren't married yet, but I got to figure out how I get close to her. And there was Fort Knox was the closest base, Fort Knox. Mm-hmm. And you know how in the Army, like the HR guys in the Army, you have to request an assignment. But if you call them and say, hey, you trying to go get close to your girlfriend, they can be like, hell no.
They're like, nah, we're going to say you.
Why is that?
Because they're not trying to, there's so many just weirdos in the Army that just fall in love so fast, it'd be terrible.
Yeah.
So what I did, I was an intelligence officer. So I looked on the secret internet and figured out what unit was going to and it was a unit out of Fort Knox, Kentucky. So I told HR, like, hey, I want to go to Kentucky.
I want to deploy.
And they were like, hell yeah. And they
that is smart.
Hell yeah, mission first.
So once I realized I was going to Kentucky, I knew Kentucky was horse country. I didn't realize Fort Knox was like 40 minutes from Churchill Downs, which is like the granddaddy of them all, like where they run a Kentucky Derby.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, shoot.
So when did you realize that? Did you realize it like once you got to Kentucky or while you was
No. Once I got my orders, once I got my RFO, my request for orders, research. And really the big piece of that, doing that research like that was because my wife had done it and I realized you just call a bunch of people, somebody will give you a shot.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say that. Hold on. You said that really fast and I don't think the audience caught that. Say that again slowly for them, Sims.
If you keep on calling folks, somebody's gonna give you a shot. So that's what I did. I realized all these horse trainers were right here. So I reached out to like 20 horse trainers. Like 4 of them hit me back. One was Dale Romans.
Wow.
All-time winners trainer at Churchill Downs. And it actually wasn't him. It was his admin lady. But her son was in the 82nd Airborne. So she had kind of a soft spot for and I will tell you, just being a black guy who likes horses, you're not getting into the horse business in Kentucky. Being a veteran is what got me into the horse business in Kentucky. So a couple guys hit me back. And then when I moved to Kentucky, I called Romans and I was like, hey, I just want to be around. So
Can I when I ask about what you just said about if you're a black man in Kentucky, you're not getting into horse racing. So that stigma then, that separation still is very prominent then?
So let me correct that. If you're just a person, white people in Kentucky, it's just a horse business. Everybody think it is the toughest business to get in. Well, I don't know. I haven't been in all businesses, but it's extremely tough. Like folks are not trying to give you a shot because
why? Is it because it's like secret society?
It's like money. I really feel, and I'm still on the outside. Like it's really, really inbred. Like my daddy was a horse trainer. Your daddy was a horse trainer.
Generational wealth kind of thing with horses.
For sure. And a lot of the trainers you see now, either their dads were trainers or their parents had money. So it makes it really hard for guys like me just trying to break in. But what really helped was being a veteran. So I told them guys I was a veteran, and I would drive from Fort Knox. I would drive like Churchill Downs wasn't open when I got there. So they had a training center out in Goshen, Kentucky. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. Drive up there in the morning just to be around the horses, train horses, and then drive back to Fort Knox and work.
Wow, in the morning, like
in the afternoon. Yeah, like 3:00.
Wow, so you got to break it down for the audience and Gina that doesn't have any military knowledge. So Gina, in the military, PT is around 6:00. So formation is around 6:00. That's where everyone gathers. Accountability, you make sure that everyone that's in that unit is accountable and is present for PT. And then once everybody's accountable, you start PT, and that takes place around 6:30, right? So he just said that. Prior to that, he was working. He drove 40 minutes, worked with the horses, and then drove back, did PT. But me and others waking up at 5:00 to get to PT around 6:00 was a headache. So for him to do that, man, that's passion and dedication, man. Cheers to that, Sims.
Yeah, it is. Cheers. I was going to mention earlier too, when you said that, going and visiting your grandpa's farm and having love for that, in the winters and stuff, like. For people who are listening to this who don't know about Midwestern winters, especially North Dakota, like that alone is love. Like the snow in North Dakota, nobody wants to be near that. Nobody wants to face that. So to go through that, to be near your passion, like you're just proving over and over and over again that whatever obstacles put in front of you, whatever you got to do to follow that passion, like you're doing it.
No, it like I said earlier, like it gets in your blood and you can't shake it. Like I was doing really good in the Army, but then the horses started calling. And I was like, man, I'm not leaving Kentucky.
How do your wife feel about that? Being in the military, especially being an officer in the military, that's a good salary and it's stable. You're going to have a job every day when you wake up. How did she take that, and how do you make that decision for your family?
So she was super supportive. she's like a road dog. Like right now, if I told her like, hey, we got to go live in the barn for a couple months, it'd be different because we got our kids now. But at that time, like if we need to go live in the barn to make this dream work, she's with it. So that's really been a big factor in this, and me support her. Her support is really what pushed me and kept me getting up in the morning. Because there were times I was like, man, she'd be like, nah, get your ass up. Or maybe I drank too much the night before. Nah, get your ass up. And just did it. And I would tell you.
That's amazing.
Because I wasn't getting paid.
It's funny because you mentioned that you've seen those qualities when y'all was way back when y'all was in college.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, she always had a grind and she supported me. That simple gesture, I mean, we was broke college kids, but of her getting me a book about horses just showed me like, yo, she's with it. So that, I mean, that's why we've been rocking. But yeah, I mean, that grind and folks seeing me every day, I wasn't getting paid. I was just going.
So it was like a free internship.
For sure. And I was learning. Like they were learning from me and they liked me being around because I was helpful, but I was learning. And the bigger thing I was doing was networking. So I started off out in the park. And then I got to the racetrack and met Dale Romans, and we had our first chat. And he's a real funny guy. Like he's like,
hold on, how long were you working for Dale Roman's team before you met Dale Roman?
Probably like,
one and only.
Maybe like 6 months.
Oh wow.
And I met him for like
bottom. You was at the bottom for real.
I met him for like 30 minutes. Then I went to Afghanistan. And when I came back from Afghanistan, they was like, oh yeah, he ain't bullshitting. Like he knows what he's doing. And they let me on the team for real.
That's amazing. So back up a sec. Who's Dale Roman and why is he important?
And why is he the
Dale
one?
Romans is one of the all-time, he's one of the nation's leading trainers. He was the all-time winningest trainer ever at Churchill Downs. He's won almost probably every big race in America, every graded race. Well, a lot of them. He ain't won the Derby yet, so he's trying to get the Derby. But just a real cool guy. He kind of started from the bottom. His dad was a trainer, but his dad, I mean, they never gave him nothing. He just worked his way up. Won a couple big races. And now he trains for some of the biggest outfits, the biggest owners in the business.
Wow.
I mean, I could talk a lot about Dale because he's one of them guys that he either likes you or he doesn't, but he realized like my passion for it. And he's welcomed me and my family and with open arms, showed me a bunch of stuff, but even more than showing me about horses, that networking piece. He always calls me Chief because I'm from an Indian reservation, but he would always introduce me to whoever he was with, like big time folks. Like I was kicking it, drinking beer, talking horses with Bobby Flay. One of his biggest owners, a guy named Dennis Albaugh. He's like one of the richest guys in America. I mean, I could probably go for an hour on some of the folks that he introduced me to. I got to kick it with Rick Pitino, used to be at the barn. Because we had horses for Rick at that time.
Yeah, when he was coaching for Louisville.
Yeah, Chris Collinsworth from Monday Night Football. There's just a bunch of guys. One cool story at the Derby, I jumped on the elevator. I was on there with Wes Welker, Tom Brady, and all them. And they stop you when you go places. I got to show them my badge. But when I was with them, they thought I was one of them. So they just let me roll with them.
Well, you developed that confidence that like, man, I'm rolling.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like you. We're the same.
I belong here.
Yeah,
no, I tell you, like
exactly. There we go. How you get that I belong here feeling and confidence?
No, I think just being around, and then one day it clicked. Like, nah, I belong here. Like I know it's just as much as you do. I'm the man, and now it's a really cool feeling to start off on an Indian reservation with cheap horses to now I walk around Churchill Downs. I go to Keeneland, like all the big tracks in Kentucky. And when I walk in, people are like, what's up, Mark? Hey, nice win, Mark. So it's really, really cool. It's humbling, but it's dope. Like I can bring my family around and they're like, oh, you Mark's mom or you Mark's dad? So they can see it, like, because they've been around. They knew I had the passion. But like the first race I won at Churchill Downs, my parents were there. Oh
wow.
For them to be there, and I mean they've been with me. I mean since I was born, so to see it all kind of come to fruition.
What was is your grandfather around to enjoy this moment and to see this as well?
No, so he passed away after the Derby like 3 years ago.
Okay.
So he passed away is what pushed me to get away from Dale and go out on my own.
Oh wow.
But what was really, really cool, like he'd stay up late to watch me saddle horses or ask me about horses. We'd always have these conversations, and he would cuss at me like, "Man, you little shit, you living my dream." Really, really appreciated it. And he died. So there's 3 legs of the Kentucky Derby. There's Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and then the Belmont. If you win all 3 of those,
that's a Triple Crown, right?
Yeah, you win a Triple Crown.
Yeah.
There's 2 weeks between the Derby and the Preakness. So the Derby, the last one my grandpa was alive for, I was in the paddock. We had a horse in there. I don't remember what horse. I think it was a horse named Brody's Cause. And for some reason, man, I need to call my grandpa. And I was in the paddock, like with the cameras going. So I tried to call him and he didn't answer because he was in the casino. And he died like the next week. Just had a heart attack. But I got to share like all that time with Romans with my grandpa. And I would fly, like my uncles and stuff are really into the business, my cousins. I'd fly all them guys in for the Derby. And part of it, they'd walk over with the Derby horses with us. So to be able to share that with those guys,
hell yeah,
it's so cool.
So you was able to you made it, and you was able to reach back.
Oh, for sure. I always like
that moment.
It's so cool because them guys been watching it on TV, just like me, our whole lives. Never thought you'd be there. Like I used to do like programs all day, and I'd sit there.
Being people of color, Native American and Black African American.
Yeah. So, my grandpa or my uncle told Romans that his Indian name was Walking Eagle. So Romans was like, Walking Eagle. He said, yeah, because I'm so full of shit, I can't fly. So little jokes and stuff like that. Like Romans love that shit.
It sounded like your grandfather was a shit talker.
Oh my God, the best.
I think that's such a beautiful way for you to like honor your grandfather too. Like you going off on your own and like you said, kind of living his dream and pushing that forward. That's absolutely beautiful. Yeah,
no, it's been really, really cool. I'd wake up in the mornings, like driving to the barn 3 a.m. and just pray, like, thanks for a day to continue to pursue my passion. Like, so yeah, we've really been blessed. But it's been a lot of fun.
Can you speak to a little bit what that switch was for you? Because you said that your grandfather's passing was kind of the switch for you to move and break off into your own thing. But was that kind of percolating for you for a while, and then how did you turn that into a reality?
Yeah, so I think me just being me, I always want more. I was really enjoying working for Romans because we had the best horses in America. So go to these big races, the Preakness, the Derby, saddle horses, be around that was really, really cool. But I want to win the Derby myself. It would have been really fun to win it with them, but I gotta do it. I gotta blaze my own trail. And my grandpa passed and was like, all right, I think it's about time.
Step it up.
Horse racing it's really, really hard to get into.
Hold on, how so at this moment when your grandfather passed away and you decided to move forward, how many years were at that moment were you working for Dell?
I think it was like 4 or 5 years, maybe 4.5, somewhere around there. And he passed in the summer, so I finished that year with Dell. And then the next year, I was like, the next spring is when racing comes back to Kentucky. I was like, I'm gonna have my own horses. A lot of guys, not a lot, but some guys, they break away from the big trainer and some of their owners will send you like maybe their second string horses. Yeah. Get you going.
Yeah. How did you start? How do you get your start?
I said I had money. My parents sent me some money. A couple of my homeboys I was in the Army with knew how passionate I was about horses. and I was always exposing people to the horse business. So they're like, how can we get in? So I think I rounded up $7,000 from everybody. We had like 30,000, and I started making phone calls. I found 2 horses at a place called Calumet Farm, which is one of the biggest farms in Kentucky.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question really quickly. So was that a gift, or was those donations or investments?
Investments.
Got you. Okay.
So they put their money in. They entrusted me to find 2 horses. I found, well, 1 horse really, but I found 2. I bought the 2 horses, and I called the racing secretary at Churchill Downs just from networking that I knew him. I was like, hey man, I need 2 stalls. And he gave me 2 stalls at Churchill Downs. And we started getting this thing rolling.
And what is the thing that you got? Yeah, what is the thing you got rolling? What is the name of your stable?
Sims Junior Racing.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
You can see it in the back, but those are actually my silks that the jockey wears.
Yeah.
And my logo.
Oh, nice. Can you describe that? What's behind you for the listeners?
Yeah. So
exactly what are we looking at?
Yeah. So over on this shoulder, that's one of my win pictures when one of my horses won. But here, most time when horses run, the jockey is wearing like a shirt, and that's really advertising for the owner. So an owner can create his own silks. My grandpa was red and white, so I incorporated the red and white for my grandpa. I thought black, red, and white looked cool. And then being in the military, I had a lady use military like our fatigue sleep.
Yeah, the fatigues.
To put it all together, and that's Sims Junior Racing right there. That's our colors. And then another
that
I had made when I was in Afghanistan. A lady took. If you ever watch horse races, sometimes horses have these things on their face called blinkers.
Yeah.
Lady take my uniforms from Afghanistan and cut them up and make them blinkers to really incorporate that military. Because I'm a soldier at heart. My brother's a soldier. My dad's a soldier. My mom was a soldier. My wife's a soldier.
I'm going to pause for a second and say cheers and thank you. Thank you all for your service.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Hold on. So, Mark, it's customary that when we have guests who have their own like brand, company.
One thing about horse racing is you got to market yourself.
Yes.
Everybody wants hats. When you go to these big horse sales, when you walk around the racetrack, you want to make sure folks know who you are. So you'll see hats.
Can I pivot to that for a second? Because you have this passion in horse racing. It seems like you understand like kind of the ins and outs of that aspect. But like you just mentioned, there's also like the marketing aspect and like the business aspect of it. Are you savvy there too, or do you partner with somebody? How do you maneuver that part of your business?
Great question.
Well, I will tell you, there are a lot of really, really good horse trainers that don't have very many horses because they don't run a good business. And there are some guys who aren't very good horse trainers who have horses because they do really well with their business. So I think to be successful, you got to be a relatively decent horseman, but you got to be a really good businessman. So when I was getting out of the military, there was a program for officers that get out of the military, GE. So GE is headquartered out of Louisville, Kentucky. So
GE as in General Electric?
GE Appliances. Yeah,
oh,
General
okay.
Electric.
Yeah, so that was like a JMO program.
Yeah.
Junior military officer. So Coach Gina and everyone in the audience, when the military, corporate America, and it was this during the President Obama administration?
Yep.
Yeah, so during this time, I know his wife, Michelle Obama, had a big push for corporate America to hire veterans. And I know for myself, I got out in 2011. It was a big push to hire military officers. So they start developing these programs, the Amazons. I was in the GMO program, Junior Military Officer Program for Amazon, the GEs, the Fords, the Walmarts.
Yep.
Chase Banks, they all created these junior military officer programs to be part of that Michelle Obama incentive, but also bring in, have that leadership aspect of the military and have that correlate and integrated with corporate. So it's an awesome program, and that's awesome.
Yeah. So I did that program and I got in. because the horse business is extremely, extremely tough to get going, especially with a family. So what worked out really well was GE. Most guys don't get to work till like 9 o'clock. I've already been up for like 5 or 6 hours. So I could train my horses in the morning and then go to work. And then I worked 3 miles from the racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
At lunchtime, if like the farrier was coming to put shoes on the horse or I needed to go do something, I could run and go do it with the horses and then go back. And then I go back every evening and feed. So I did get, from a business perspective, I learned a lot of business with GE. And then it helped keep the bills paid, because starting off with 2 horses, you can't support a family unless you win a lot of races.
So I know the JMO program is like a feeder program. What part of the business did you wind up being a part of?
So I think GE in general, at least GE Appliances, is looking for officers to go into manufacturing to lead people, because it correlates really well to the military.
Mm-hmm.
But
like plants?
Yeah, in the plants. So I started off in the plant, and I did really well in the plant. The plant's hot. You can't leave the plant. I mean, it is tough work. But my next job, I was and what's been cool about GE, I got a criminal justice degree.
Yeah.
Fire quality engineer. So I was sitting down with like these design engineers looking at drawings and creating plastic parts. Mm-hmm. I did that for a while because the program, you do 3 9-month rotations.
Okay.
And my last job is something I enjoyed, was I went into product management for refrigerators. Mm-hmm. So product managers are the guys really from soup to nuts, how you create the product, where you're sourcing the parts from, where you're manufacturing it, to how you sell it and how you market it. Mm. And the marketing and commercial side of the business really, really piqued my interest. So I left there and then I did marketing for our HVAC business. We had a small HVAC business. And then a call from the vice president of sales. He's into horse racing.
Wow.
He was like, Mark, the sales manager job for Richmond, Virginia is opening up.
And that's perfect, because you're from a suburb.
You want to go back home. Wow. So I was really torn, to be honest, because my parents are here. I got 3 young kids, but horses are in Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, if I move back to Kentucky, and at that time I had a lot of steam. Like I had claimed a horse. I claimed a horse for $50,000. I got an Indian guy that I had met up from our reservation. He actually lives in Canada, though. Different reserve, but we had a mutual friend. We had been talking. One thing you'll find in horse business, a lot of people want to talk. But me and this guy have been talking for like 3 years. And one day he called me and we were talking. He said, let's claim a horse. I was like, all right, cool. Most of the people want to claim a horse. They want to claim a cheap horse. $10,000.
What does it mean to claim a horse?
So there's different levels to horse racing. So most folks know like the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby is a grade 1 stakes race. So those are the best 3-year-olds in the world. So you have a graded stakes race, then you have a regular stakes race, and then you have allowance races, and then claiming races. So claiming races mean if you put your horse in a claiming race for $10,000, anybody can buy your horse with a license for $10,000 out of that race. So it's not an auction, but your horse is for sale. But if your horse can't compete in those stakes levels, you have to run them where they can win. So if you have a $10,000 claiming horse, you got a $10,000 claiming horse, you got to run them, try to win, and somebody's probably going to take them. And this guy found this horse.
Hold on, so you somebody could just buy it for $10,000. Can you like compete against them and say no?
Nah.
You get what I'm saying? Like put a bid.
Yeah. No, it's not a bid. So it's $10,000. So if us 3 like the same horse that's for $10,000, we can all drop a slip, an envelope with our name on it and the money in our account for $10,000. And then what happens is I get 1, you get 2, Gina gets 3. They shake up some numbers, and whoever number comes out gets the horse for $10,000.
Oh, wow. So it's like a buy-in lottery kind of thing.
Yeah. If the owner want to keep his horse, can the owner put in his name in the hat?
No, you can't it's illegal to do that. Some folks, like if I'm running for one for 10,000, I don't want to lose them. I might call you, Phoenix, and be like, "Hey, drop on my horse and give you. You do it."
So if your horse is not good enough to run in one of those top races, then they drop to one of these clean races, and somebody could just buy your horse because your horse is trash.
Well, they're not gonna buy them because they're trash. They're gonna buy them because they're good.
So they have potential, but they just can't run in the top races.
Yep. So
wow, that's crazy.
It's like, I mean, one of my better horses, the horse right here in this picture right here, I claimed him for $16,000, and in the course of 6 months or so, me, my dad, my brother, and my mom, we won 3 races with him and made $50,000.
Ow.
We shipped him here to Virginia, and he got the money here in Virginia. Beat him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But then I put him in a race for $7,500. This race right here, he won, and somebody claimed him.
So, after he won?
Yeah.
They just took your horse that you just trained to win?
They took him. I gave him a kiss, and he was gone.
Oh.
So you got the earnings, and they got the horse.
Yeah.
I'm so confused on it.
What is the purpose of that, to like keep like competitiveness kind of, what's the word I want to call, like kind of spread around, or like
what's the
purpose of that?
It's just levels. There's levels to it. And one thing, like if your horse isn't as good as he used to be, you put him in a cheaper race, somebody claims him, then you don't have to worry about him anymore. Like, he's somebody else's problem. Somebody else got to take care of him.
But what if you got a popping horse like the one that you just had that just won you?
Yeah, that guy don't like me. The guy I took that horse probably don't like me no more because I took him from him and then I improved on him.
But then somebody took him from you.
Well, when he took him from me, my little horse never ran again.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I hope he's a pony horse now, but
yeah. Wow, that's
a tough game.
It reminds me of like white elephant gifts at Christmas, where it's like you open a gift and someone gets to steal your gift or open a new gift, and it's like, wait, no, I wanted that thing.
Hell yeah!
No, it's really a tough game to play because you fall in love with these horses, but you want to win a race, and if you for 16,000, you running back for 16,000, and he loses like twice, like, man, now I got to run him for 10,000 because the competition is easier, and then you run him for 10, somebody's gonna take them from you.
It's almost like you want to win, but you don't want to win, because if you win, someone's going to take your horse. But if you win, like then you win. Like that's
yeah.
And sometimes you get lucky. Like the first time I claimed, I got him. I bought him for 16,000. I put him in, I think, for 20,000, and nobody claimed him, and he won. But then I didn't run him back in no claiming races until this race. And the reason I ran him in that race is because I was getting ready to move to Virginia. And I wasn't sure how I was going to keep the training going being here in Virginia. But we figured it out.
So your stable is now, they relocated from Kentucky and is now, your company is in Virginia.
No, the horses are still in Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
So what I do is I travel. That's why I had such a hard time getting a hold of you, because I be on the road.
Oh, okay. I just thought you was like the Mr. President, man. I was kind of the President, Coach Gina. It was hard to get in contact with this busy man.
Well, I mean, he's got a business and a wife and 3 kids. Like that alone is enough to keep a man busy, keep anyone busy. And then you're, going out of state to do your training. So I'm curious about, because you said that like kind of when you start off, you're not making a lot of money and you were working for GE, to take care of your family and everything. What is that life like? How long do you have to be in the business before you start seeing like real gains that you can like live off of?
Good question.
So it's all about really your horses, how many horses you can get. And the way you get horses is owners see you and they send you horses, they entrust you. And most of the time, the way you get horses is winning races. So what was really tough for me getting started was I bought 2 horses that Calumet Farm didn't want anymore. And we treated them phenomenal. My groom, the guy who works for me, takes care of my horses, like rubs them every day. Mm-hmm. In my barn, he always says, welcome to the Taj Mahal, because they are getting the best care a racehorse can get. farrier, the guy who puts the shoes on the horses, my vet, my horses get massages, chiropractor.
Man, I want to be a horse.
Yeah.
Whatever they need.
Sounds like a nice life.
Yeah, hell yeah. That sounds like Taj Mahal.
So people beat up the horse business like, oh, we're cruel. Like these horses get treated so phenomenal. My horses, after they train in the mornings, a lady called a hot walker walks them. She takes them out, lets them eat grass. In the afternoons, we take them back out, let them eat some more grass. So we really just take really, really good care of them. So what's hard about it is you can do all that, but if you got a bad horse, you got a bad horse. Be like me, I can train with the Olympic guys, but when the gun goes off, I can't run with them guys.
Mm-hmm.
So my first 2 horses just couldn't compete on this level in Kentucky. Well, at the big tracks, but they were okay. They looked good. So sometimes horses looking good can kind of get you some attention. But I was able to win. I think my first year I won 1 race or 2. I think I won 2 races my first year.
With those 2 horses?
Well, one of them ran second, third a couple of times. And it hit not terribly, but a lady had randomly was at the racetrack and saw him and had his grandma. So she had sent me a message like, hey, if there ever comes a time you don't need him anymore, or you don't want him anymore, call me. So she drove to Detroit and I gave her to him.
Wow.
Which didn't make my guys happy because they invested that money.
You sold it to her or you gave it to her?
No, I gave it to her.
Wow.
Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have any value not much value as a racehorse. And I knew this lady was going to take really good care of him. So driving all the way from Michigan, I was like, man, you come all the way down here, you're going to take good care of my horse. You can have him. And we paid $5,000 for him. So the guys weren't crazy about that idea, but we paid $5,000 for him. He made like $5,000 or $6,000. So he kind of kept the lights on and kind of paid away. And he tried hard. So we gave him away. And the other one, he had a lot of potential, but he only ran when he felt like it. So I think he won 2 or 3 races. He made a little bit of money, but we ended up selling him. And a guy sent him to West Virginia, and he won some races over there. So kind of like high school athletes, you can find a college to play at if you want to, but it might not be a college you want to play at. So I need horses that could compete here. But I was talking about earlier was that Indian gentleman, his name is Rick Running Rabbit. We talked, and we tried to claim a couple of horses for like 20,000, 10,000, and just didn't have any luck. Mm-hmm. One day there was a horse in for 50,000 in Arkansas, so we bought him for 50,000, and he is a really, really nice horse. And I still have this horse. He's a Zaranga, and this horse, I love this horse. He gave me my first win at Churchill Downs.
Oh, wow.
He took me to a graded stakes race up in Canada. We went all the way to Canada. And on the way to Canada, I stopped on my Indian reservation, left the horse there, let him charge up, picked up my uncle and my cousin, and we drove all the way up to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and ran it in a grade 3 stakes race.
Wow.
That's amazing. Oh, my God.
And then this horse came back here and then won a $100,000 race here at Churchill Downs. So when you start winning races like that, folks start calling you. So then I start ringing a little bit. The Courier Journal, which is the biggest paper in Louisville.
Hold on. How long after you left Dale Roman, did this start? Like, you just had to happen?
About a year. So my first year was pretty tough.
Is that normal?
Some guys it takes longer.
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
He's
seems
humble. He's humble.
Quick.
Hell no, that's not normal. He just said it earlier. He said he always trying to be the best. That's what the fucking best.
Well, I will tell you one thing that helps a lot of these guys. No knock on them, but their daddies were horse trainers, or their daddies got money, or their mamas got money, so they send these guys horses. Us guys who kind of came, like, I grew up around horses, but I wasn't in Kentucky. I wasn't in that Kentucky. I ain't in that Kentucky blood. Mm-hmm. I got to work my way in. And one thing that was really dope, I brought up Calumet Farm earlier. I bought those 2 first horses from them. This horse that I did really well with, Kazaranga, they owned him, but I claimed him from them. But they kept an eye on him. So the farm manager called me one day and was like, hey, Mark, we want to send you some horses. But I was back in Virginia.
Oh, man.
But it all worked out. Like what I ended up doing with my good horse, I sent him to a good buddy of mine. He didn't run well the first time my buddy ran him. And my buddy wanted to put him in a claiming race. And I was like, nah, man, we can't put him in no claiming race. So I was like, I'm going back to training. So I made a couple phone calls. The guys who used to work for me, I'm going to bring this horse back. So then I told my wife, like, hey, I'm going to be traveling. She was cool with it. She was like, you got to go back. So since then, I've been traveling like every week almost. I fly back to Kentucky and I'm there like 3 days. I'm back here 4 days or vice versa, depending on when horses are running and stuff. So I've been traveling back and forth. But when I got my horse back, his first time running, we ran in a big race in Kentucky at Keeneland, one of the biggest tracks. He ran third, but he only lost by like a length, which is probably 6 feet.
Oh, wow.
I brought him back. He ran second, and then he ran second for 100,000. And then he ran like fourth and fifth a couple of times. And then one of his ankles started bothering him a little bit, so we sent him to the farm. So right now he's at the farm. I actually went and seen him last week, fed him a bunch of peppermints, and we'll be back probably early next month. And
so he's basically in rehab right now.
Yeah, when he gonna come back, we're gonna be ready to get some more money.
So how did that look like? How are y'all getting money now in 2021 with COVID? Like what is that looking like for for your business and your sport?
So what's been really cool, and you guys may have noticed it, when all these other sports kind of took time away, the horse business, you can't really take time away. We have to care for these horses every day.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these racetracks worked with the government and was like, hey, we're going to put in these precautions. We're not going to let in any fans, but we're still going to run these races. And because the jockeys are there, the trainers are there, the grooms, everybody's already there. So they put in precautions, masks, things like temperature checks, things like that. And we were keep racing going. And you guys may have seen, but horse racing was the only game in town, like March, April, May. So it was good.
Yeah.
Perspective is to open people's eyes, like, oh, people still race horses.
I know I was watching, my girl and I, we were big horse fans. They always say like bucket list, and my goal in life is to cross off my bucket list as I think about it. So one of the big things I want to do is go to the Kentucky Derby. So maybe you could hook me up and I could be in the elevator with Tom Brady. What up?
Phoenix, if you go to the Kentucky Derby, I'm going to make you one of those big ass hats with the flowers.
I need a hat. Yo,
yes.
I want a Sin Stable hat. You heard? Like that's
I got you.
And I'm a rep. So are you going to be in the Kentucky Derby this year? And when is that?
The Kentucky Derby, hopefully, is the first Saturday in May. And hopefully I'll get me another horse, a 3-year-old, and I can have a horse in it this year. But we got to get real lucky.
Oh, man.
What's so big about winning the Kentucky Derby is the only horses, anytime there says Derby, they have to be a 3-year-old.
Why is that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's just the rules. A Derby is for 3-year-olds. And then every racehorse's birthday is New Year's Day. So every horse only has one chance to run a Kentucky Derby, the first Saturday in May of their 3-year-old year. That's why it's so hard to win the Kentucky Derby. Like jockeys
that's
win it several times. No horse has ever won the Derby twice because they can't, because they're forward.
Huh. That's crazy. I didn't know
That's
that.
Crazy.
So you were mentioning jockeys also, out of curiosity. How does that play in? Do you get to pick your jockeys? Like, do you know them? How do you find people to ride your horses?
Yeah. So as a trainer, I look at myself as like a coach, but my athletes can't talk to me. So I figure out their programs every day, what they're going to do to exercise, what they're going to eat. If something's ailing them, I work with the vet or the masseuse, and we figure out what's going on with them. The jockeys are like, they run their own business. So they go around each morning. They have agents. They go around each morning looking and driving, trying to say, hey, Mark, you got one I can get on? You got one I can get on? Or trying to create relationships. And I watch them ride, and I decide who fits what horse. And then me and the agent figure out if he's going to ride or not. There's times like I say, hey, I'm going to put my horse in this race. I want you to ride it. And maybe another trainer has one in that race that you like more, that you think you can win on. So you pick that horse. So that's how they're chosen. I typically pick guys that I'm friends with. Because what you'll find, especially as a smaller trainer or a smaller outfit, is some of those big time jockeys will take a race off from time to time. They're tired. And I don't want nobody to, I work too hard. You guys taking no race off on my horse. I get them to the goal line. They just need to cross it. So I pick and choose my jockeys pretty carefully.
Are the jockeys part of the training process?
So sometimes, a typical workout schedule for most horses is they'll work out 1 day a week. And when I say workout, that's like a work. So they go fast. And then they'll usually get a day off. And then most of the time they'll jog 1 day and then they'll gallop the other 4 days. So my program, typically Monday they jog, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they gallop, which is a lope. And then they work fast on Saturdays. They have Sundays off. But sometimes
that's the Lord's day.
Yeah.
Some horses can't walk. Some horses, if you let them walk 1 day, they lose their mind. Some horses don't work well, so you don't work them as much. Some horses can't jog because they'll cramp up, things like that. So you kind of fit it to each horse, but that's typically what we do.
Okay. I'm learning so much about all of this that I had no idea about. Like, you see the Kentucky Derby and you're just like, oh, horses running around a track. And it just it seems so simple, but it's so intricate and so complicated and so many layers that you just don't really expect there to be.
No, I've seen a picture that was pretty cool. It had a racehorse in the middle and all the people who touch it. Like you got, and most of us never talk. Like you got breeders, you got owners. Like I talked to the owner. Then you got a trainer. Then you got a farrier, guy who puts his shoes on. You got a dentist. You got somebody who walks it, somebody who typically gallops it every day or works it out every day. There's so many different folks that touch them just to get them to the racetrack. So it really is a team effort. One thing you'll notice, like when a lot of these trainers talk in their interviews, the good ones always say we. The not so good ones say I. So I always notice that. Same thing with like regular coaches or team sports. It really team makes it work.
So let me ask you a question. So you have your own stable, your horse trainer, but are you an owner as well? Because I know you say you clean the horses for a certain amount of money, you buy certain horses. So are you an owner and a trainer and you have your own stable, or how did that work? Do all trainers have their own stable? Yeah,
so I own and train. I've claimed a couple, like I put together that money with my buddies. So we own those horses. This little horse that we claimed right here, me and my parents claimed, so I owned him. But I also like that horse Casaranga. I don't own him. I train him for somebody else. If you guys watched the Derby this year, there were some black guys that had a horse in the Derby. Greg Harbutt and Ray Daniels. They actually just sent me a horse a couple of weeks ago. So I got those guys that Greg's a good friend of mine, and Ray is too. So yeah, I train for some folks, and then I own a couple as well.
So if the horse win, with the horses that you're not the owner of and you just training, it's like you get a portion of that. Who
it's a percentage.
Does the owner get more percentage than the trainer, or did the trainer get more percentage than the owner?
So the owner, because he pays the bills, he owns the horse, gets the lion's share. So like my horse Casaranga, when he won, the purse was like $100,000. So the owner gets 60% of the purse, so $60. And then me being the trainer gets 10% of that $60,000.
Okay.
The jockey gets 10% of that $60,000. So he ends up netting $48,000. Me and the jockey get $6,000.
Gotcha. Where does the other 40% go?
To the other horses. So second gets 20%, third gets 10%.
Oh, that's out of the total pot.
Yep.
Okay,
and
so first place
like
gets
fifth.
60%.
Yep.
Do you get paid even if your horse loses? Like, do you get paid for being a trainer, or is it only if a horse wins?
Yep. So every trainer charges a day rate because it is extremely expensive.
Yeah.
You're training a horse each day. So as a trainer, I charge a day rate, and then I charge commission when the horse runs well.
Okay, cool. So you're not just like out and then hoping you get the 6,000 if the horse wins.
Some guys charge very little on their day rate, and then they're like outs. But it costs a significant amount of money each day to train. So you got to charge. I'm not getting rich on no day money. I can tell you that. We make money when horses win.
When horses win.
Yep.
And what is what would you say? I don't know if you are able to like accurately provide this answer, but in your opinion, what is the percentage or the average of or the chances of someone actually winning?
So a good win percentage for a trainer is 20%. So it's kind of hard pill for some folks to swallow. So as a horse trainer, if I can win at 30%, they're looking like, oh, he's cheating. But 20, a little bit over 20%, you are a good horse trainer. But what that means is I lost 8 times. So I know we talk about sometimes how do we get more African Americans involved? You got African American athletes or athletes in general that have a lot of money and they're competitors, but they have a hard time with horses because they're going to lose 8 times, maybe win twice. So that losing piece of the horse business is really, really tough for some folks to swallow. So when I try to bring folks in, I always bring them around the horses and then kind of the atmosphere of the races.
That horse bug, you trying to let that bug bite them.
Yeah, you got to enjoy that because
it sounds like you're a coach. You know when coaches recruit football players. I hear your approach when you go recruit or you go vet investors. That's what you do. You say, I don't preach the winning aspect of it. I preach the horses. I want them to understand and get a feeling for the experience of the horses. Yeah.
No, it's true because if you don't enjoy that aspect of it, like it's a lot of fun, but if you don't enjoy that, you're not gonna have fun. You're gonna look at it like, man, I didn't make no money. And you're gonna be out. I try to bring lifelong guys around, even if you sending your horses to somebody else. I brought another fan. Like when I was with Romans, or even now, like if I see a young kid close to the winner's circle and I won, I'm like, hey, come jump in the picture. I got a couple pictures that this guy was rooting on my horse and she won. I was like, man, come on, come get in the picture. And then I got him a picture, so him and his wife took a picture home. Wow. Never see that guy again. But if he's a horse enthusiast now, at least he's supporting the business, you know. So
it's bigger than the money, man. That sounds amazing, Mark.
We try to keep as many folks in it, or I try to attract as many folks because it really is. It's a fun game, and I'm sure now when you guys see the Derby or you guys see a horse race on, you'll look at it a little bit differently.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, like I said, hopefully we're next to you this year. So
yeah, come on, man. We're looking at it a little bit differently from the seats.
Exactly.
Well, Mark, I've learned a lot, and I know that you have so much more that you could tell us. I know that you just have a brain full of stories that you've experienced and just information that would for sure go over my head, but that I would love to hear. So I think that we should definitely continue this conversation, but we are coming to the end of this episode. So I guess my final question for you is, what's coming next for you? What do you have on your horizon?
Yeah, so next is really right now it's kind of the quiet time. It gets really cold in Kentucky right now. So a lot of guys go south for the winter. So most guys right now are either in Florida, Arkansas, or New Orleans, Louisiana. I still got my horses in Kentucky. There's still a racetrack open in Kentucky, but the purses aren't as good. So right now I just got the one horse, but as we get closer to spring, when Derby time comes, so like March, April, we'll start looking to claim some more horses. And I hope my goal for May time frame is to have about 4 horses. So I have my guy over there taking care of them. I'll be traveling back and forth and hopefully start making some money.
Yeah. Well, we'll be pulling for you and keeping an eye out for your horses.
All right, cool.
Absolutely. I'm definitely going to be rooting for you with that Sin Stable hat. You heard?
I got you. I will tell you, I really have enjoyed the last hour. It's been a ton of fun. I appreciate you guys welcoming me on. And in general, I was actually just shared it with my brother. It's been dope. I really enjoyed it. The two that really stick out is you guys interviewed a guy who had been locked up for a long time. And I can remember being pissed off the whole time, like, man, this is some bullshit. And then the one with his name Kwame. What's the guy we went to school with?
Kwame.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kwame.
he's a bro. Shout out to you.
Yeah, Kwame and I forget her name.
Cecilia.
Cecilia. I really
Our election day episode.
Yeah, those are the two. I was like, man, this is dope. I was driving for work and I was listening to those podcasts. I listened to those episodes all day. So keep doing what you guys are doing. I appreciate the time.
Oh, we appreciate the love, man.
We appreciate the love, absolutely. And you know what's crazy is we enjoyed you, and we know it's positive that your episode is going to be one of those episodes that one of our guests, like, you know, that horse trainer, the black horse trainer, man, that was one of my favorite episodes. So you rocked it, man. And we appreciate your presence.
I'm not going to lie. This was one of my favorite episodes before we even recorded. When Phoenix brought up your name and told me your story, I was like, yes, I have been looking forward to this conversation for weeks.
That's no cap. No, that's not a lie at all, man.
And you do not disappoint.
Yes. Every time we have our weekly updates, she was like, man, I can't wait to this episode right here. So
awesome. Well, it was fun. I hope we lived up to it.
Absolutely.
Yo, but at this time, before you go, this is my favorite part of the show. Mark, if you've seen our podcast, you know our thing of the week is where we provide our audience with a gem, a jewel, something that inspire us throughout the week. Maybe a movie, a quote, or just something that we thought about to provide the audience to gather, inspire them to the following week. So at this time, my thing of the week is this. My thing of the week is, in life, there are people who are currently in jobs that they don't love or are living lives that they don't enjoy. I am constantly asked, Coach Phoenix, why are you always so happy? Why are you always so motivated? I tell them this, and I tell you this, audience. My thing of the week is passion plus vision equals motivation. What do that mean? When you think of passion, that comes from your dreams or deep desires. Your vision comes from things like vision boards or your goals. And then it equals motivation. That motivation comes from progress of those goals and vision and the success that you achieve from that. Like our guest today, Mark Sims. So again, I say this, passion plus vision equals motivation. Coach Phoenix, role model mindset. Coach Gina.
I love it. That thing of the week is, I think, motivating. So my thing of the week is this quote from Stephen Fry. Oscar Wilde said that if you know what you want to be, then you inevitably become it. That is your punishment. But if you never know, then you can be anything. There's a truth to that. We are not nouns. We are verbs. I am not a thing, an actor, a writer. I am a person who does things. I write, I act, and I never know what I'm going to do next. I think you can be imprisoned if you think of yourself as a noun. I really like that quote. And again, I think that it applies to our guest because as we talk about, he is many things and he brings all of those things together to Phoenix's point, pursue his passion and to achieve and to succeed. So again, Mark, thank you so much for joining us this week, for being our guest, for inspiring us. It has been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Same here. Same here. So Mark, again, like Coach Gina said, thank you, audience. We love you. Thank you again. We're looking forward to what 2021 brings. Perspective, Toast with the Coaches, Coach Gina, Coach Phoenix, and we out. Cheers.
Cheers.